Close your eyes and try to remember your very first memory. Reach back as far as you can into the quiet darkness of your own past. Perhaps you see a sudden, fleeting flash of yellow sunlight on a worn wooden kitchen floor. Perhaps you hear a faint, distorted lullaby, or feel the rough, comforting texture of a favorite wool blanket. You hold on to this tiny fragment of time, believing it to be the absolute beginning of your story. But now, try to go back even further. Try to remember the day you took your very first steps. Try to remember your first birthday party, the taste of your first solid food, or the sound of your mother's voice soothing you in the quiet, safe dark of your nursery. Nothing, just a blank. It is as if the first 3 or 4 years of your life were lived by someone else entirely. You were there, of course. You laughed, you cried, you explored, and you learned at a rate that you will never be able to replicate as an adult. Your young brain was a sponge, soaking up every sight, sound, and touch with incredible intensity. Yet, the doors to this vast library of your own existence have been locked forever. This is not a simple case of forgetting a name or where you left your keys. This is infantile amnesia, a silent, universal erasure that sweeps through every human mind. It is a strange, deeply unsettling paradox of our biology. Why does the most complex learning machine on Earth work so hard to record a childhood it is destined to destroy? To understand why your early life has been wiped clean, you have to look deep inside your own head, at a tiny, seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. This is your brain's central filing cabinet. It is the place where your daily experiences are gathered, sorted, and packaged into permanent memories. For a long time, scientists and doctors believed that babies simply had an underdeveloped hippocampus. They assumed the hardware was too soft and primitive to write permanent memory files in the first place, leaving you with a blank slate. But that assumption is wrong. Your infant brain was not a broken camera. It was a hyperactive recording device, writing thousands of sensory gigabytes every single hour. The real reason your childhood memories are gone is far more unsettling. Your brain did not fail to keep them. It actively, physically destroyed them. This silent demolition was mapped in 2014 by 2 neuroscientists, Dr. Paul Franklin and Dr. Sheena Jocelyn, at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. They wanted to understand a process called neurogenesis, which is the birth of new brain cells. When you are a baby, your brain is in a state of explosive growth. Your hippocampus is a chaotic, noisy construction site, rapidly churning out thousands of new neurons every single day. This sounds like a positive development. We naturally tend to think that more brain cells mean more memory and a stronger mind. But Franklin and Jocelyn discovered a startling biological truth. To understand it, imagine a quiet forest path. Over time, as you walk it, the path becomes clear, packed down, and easy to follow. This is how a memory is formed in your brain, a physical pathway of connected cells. But now imagine a massive, wild expansion of new trees and plants suddenly bursting through the ground, tearing up the soil and blocking the path. The new growth destroys the old trail. This is exactly what happens in your infant brain. As thousands of new neurons force their way into your young hippocampus, they disrupt, overwrite, and completely dissolve the fragile pathways where your early memories were stored. The very process that allowed your brain to grow and learn actually paved over your past. Your brain's development is its memory's graveyard, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. It is an unavoidable tax paid for growth. In their Toronto study, the researchers demonstrated this by working with young mice. They found that infant mice could remember a learned task for only a few days before the memory vanished. However, when the scientists chemically slowed down the birth of new brain cells in these young mice, they suddenly retained their memories for much longer. Conversely, when they artificially sped up neuron growth in adult mice, the adult mice quickly forgot things they had known for weeks. The conclusion was clear. The rapid addition of new neurons in the hippocampus actively clears out old information to make room for the new. But there is another layer to this mystery, one that goes beyond pure biology and touches the very way you think, speak, and perceive reality. Memories are not just physical pathways of cells. They are also stories we tell ourselves. And to tell a story, you need language. To explore this human dimension, psychologist Dr. Chi Wang at Cornell University conducted a series of studies looking at how culture and language shape our earliest recollections. She compared adult memories across different societies, specifically focusing on the differences between individualistic Western cultures and more collectivist East Asian cultures. What she found was remarkable. On average, adults from Western cultures, like the United States, can remember events from about 6 months earlier in their childhood, compared to adults from East Asian cultures, like China. And the difference does not lie in their genes or their brain chemistry. It lies in the way their parents talked to them. Dr. Wang discovered that the way we organize our memories is deeply dependent on what psychologists call narrative scaffolding. When you are a toddler, you do not have the language to structure your thoughts. Your parents provide this structure for you. When a parent sits with a child and asks detailed emotional questions about their day, asking things like, "How did you feel when the dog barked?" Or, "What did we do after we went to the park?" They are teaching the child how to build a memory. They are providing the filing cabinet system. Before you have a rich vocabulary, your memories are stored as raw sensory shapes. They are feelings of warmth, sharp sounds, or bright colors. Once you acquire language, your brain shifts to a completely new operating system. It begins to organize the world in words. Because of this upgrade, your adult mind can no longer read the old, wordless files of your infancy. It is like trying to run modern software on an ancient computer. The files are still there, but they are written in a code your conscious mind can no longer decipher. Think of your memory as an old library. Before you learned to speak, you were storing books on the shelves, but you didn't have a cataloging system. The books are still sitting in the dust, but because they have no labels, no titles, and no index cards, your adult brain can wander the aisles forever and never find them. This brings us to a deeper, perhaps more comforting truth. Just because you cannot consciously recall being a baby does not mean those years have left no trace behind. They are still there, running silently in the background of your life right now. In psychology, there is a vital distinction between explicit memory and implicit memory. Explicit memory is the kind you can recall on command. The name of your first school, your phone number, or what you had for breakfast this morning. Implicit memory is different. It is felt. It is somatic. It is written directly into your nervous system, your reflexes, your muscles, and your emotional triggers. You do not remember the specific afternoons you spent lying in your crib, listening to the rain tap against the window. You do not remember the feeling of being held, rocked, and comforted when you were frightened. And you do not remember the quiet, cold moments of feeling lonely or misunderstood, but your body does. The amygdala, which processes fear and raw emotion, matures much faster than the hippocampus. This means that as an infant, you were fully capable of experiencing intense fear, comfort, anxiety, and joy, and storing those emotional reactions long before your brain could attach a story to them. Your earliest relationships and sensory experiences laid down the foundational blueprint of your emotional world. They formed your attachment style, how you love, how you trust, and how you react when someone pulls away from you. When you feel a sudden, inexplicable wave of anxiety in a crowded room, or a deep, comforting sense of peace when you smell a certain type of wood, food, or fabric, you are experiencing a ghost of a memory from your infancy. Your conscious mind may have lost the details, but your nervous system kept the receipts. The way you react to stress, the way you seek comfort, and the deep, instinctual fears you carry into adulthood were all written during that forgotten, silent era. You are a walking, breathing monument to a past you can never visit. It is easy to view infantile amnesia as a loss, a tragic theft of our most innocent years. But here is the beautiful reality. This systematic erasure is not a defect. It is a gift. Your brain is a prediction machine. It does not exist to record the past. It exists to help you navigate the future. If your brain did not clear out the raw, overwhelming sensory clutter of your early years, you would be cognitively paralyzed. You would be unable to make fast, rational decisions. You would be trapped in an endless storm of unorganized details. Your brain had to sacrifice your personal history to secure your survival. It had to burn the scaffolding of your early childhood so that you could stand on your own as a conscious, thinking adult. You had to forget who you were so that you could become who you are right now.